All right, we're going to look at the passive voice too. The passive voice too definitely is coming from passive voice one. All right, the idea is not different. The idea is the same. Like we said, that when we're dealing with a passive, we are interested in the doer of the action, and not rather we are interested in the action itself rather than the doer of the action. Remember, we talked about it in the passive voice one. We say when we want to change a sentence into the passive voice, that means that we are forgetting the original subject of the original sentence, of the active sentence. And when we're putting it in the passive voice, we are definitely forgetting the subject. We are now dealing with one. We're dealing with the action itself, the verb itself. Why are we dealing with the verb itself? Because we have turned what was the subject. Yes, I am obstructing because I'm going to. I will move later after I've explained. I'll move and then you will see. So I said that what was the original subject is now forgotten, and then we focus on the verb itself. All right, we focus on the action itself in the sentence. So we get done with the, or we leave out the subject of the verb and we focus on the verb. Okay, so I have given sentences in this table. Still, we are going to write the passive sentence. You are going to give me the answers by raising up your hands. It is the same table that we drew last week. This is similar to the table that we drew last week. In this column here, we have the sentences in the active voice. And then in this column here, we have the sentences in the passive voice. Then here we have the tenses, the different tenses. Here we look at how different the sentences are expressed in given the tenses that are here. Now, when we look at number one, we have they are giving us all sorts of things. Number one is they are giving us all sorts of things. This one is in the present continuous tense. Present continuous tense expresses an action that has been spoken about, and it is continuing, it is taking place at the time that it has been spoken about. So that means it is expressing that fact that an action is taking place at the time that they have spoken about it. That is the present continuous tense. So that's why we say they are giving us all sorts of things. Now, what is going to be our response here in the passive voice? I need hands now. Business. Seeing Divine, queried, I think. Yeah, Divine.
We are being given all sorts of things.
What's your name again?
Divine.
Divine who? The second one
Divine.
is very...
Divine Caridad.
Caridad.
Yes.
It's not Queridad, it's Caridad.
Yes.
Okay, what a unique name. All right, Divine.
We are being given all sorts of things.
We are being given all sorts of things. Very good. We are being given all sorts of things. You see now, the sentence has changed greatly from the original one. Now we see a different change here. We see a different sentence here. But this sentence, like I said in the last week in the other lesson, I said that they express the same thing. They do express the same thing. The idea is the same. We are talking about being given all sorts of things. All right. But what changes is now that the other one is in the active voice. This one is in the passive voice. Okay? But they express the same things. You guys in class, I'm also talking to you. Eh? It expresses the same thing. The only difference is that, why do we use the passive voice? That is the only question that we should ask ourselves. We use the passive voice when we are interested in the action, the doer. Rather, we're interested in the action itself than the doer. That's why we are forgetting this subject here, they. We have forgotten this they here. And then we have brought ourselves, because when you look at this sentence now, where we have they are giving us, that means this is the subject, this is the verb, this is the object. But you see, there is all sorts of things. That one will come later. I will explain this concept here. But the first sentence is already complete. They are giving us. But what are they giving us? Because the sentence is not complete. Eh? What are they giving us? They are giving us all sorts of things. All right? That means the verb to give is a transitive verb. It requires a direct what? Object. All right? So here we come and say we are being given all sorts of things. Why does this sentence look different from the first one? Because we are interested in being given. Right? This is where our interest is. All right? Our interest is not the subject, the ones who are giving us. Our interest is in the giving, all right? And not the people that are giving us. So the passive voice basically looks at the action itself. We're interested in the action than the doer of the action. So when you are responding in examinations, they give, for example, a number and they say, rewrite using we are. When they have given you, they are giving us all sorts of things. When they say rewrite beginning, we are. All right? That means we're going to respond the way we have responded here, that we are being given all sorts of things. What are we forgetting here? We are forgetting that word by them. Now the by them does not matter in the passive voice. It doesn't matter. We said last time that it matters only when we want to deal with the doer of the action. When we are interested in the doer of the action. For example, if the statement had Mary, Mary and Sarah are giving us all sorts of things. So we want to come to passive. When we come to passive, we are being given all sorts of things by Mary and Sarah, because now there it calls for the doer of the action. It calls for us to indicate the doer of the action, because the doer of the action has been given in the active set. I am going to disconnect. Is it what's her name here? You are having your baby brother or baby sister there who is playing around with the internet, playing around with your screen. Please stop it. Okay. So when we go to number 2, Alicia, Alicia, give us number 2.
I'm just going to concentrate on the past continuous, on the active voice.
Alicia, go away from your radio. Go away from the radio in the house or television. It is giving us feedback. Atwaire Becky.
We are given all sorts of things.
Okay, they are giving us all sorts of things. They are giving us also all sorts of things. We are given all sorts of things. We are given all sorts things. All sorts of things. Okay. The third one, Chelimo. Chelimo Yvonne.
We were given all sorts of things.
Repeat, come again.
I made a mistake.
He had made a mistake. He had missed were, but the answer, we were given all sorts of things. On that sentence,
Yeah, they were. Yes, this sentence is they were. They were giving us all sorts of things. Let's put word here. They were giving us, past continuous. They were giving us all sorts of things. So Chelimo, you said the response is?
We were given all sorts of things.
We were, yes, we were given all sorts of things. Beautiful. Okay, let me have Nisima Nancy. Nisima.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
Teacher, we have said we were given all sorts of things, but it's past continuous.
Past continuous. They were giving us all sorts of things. It is in the past continuous. They were giving us all sorts of things. So in the past, in the passive voice, it's going to become we were given all sorts of things. They were giving us all sorts of things. Sorry?
We do not add being.
They are giving us all sorts of things. We were given all sorts of things. We are being given all sorts of things. Yes. Yes, we add being. We were being, just like we added here. Just like we added here. They are giving us. We were being given. Beautiful. We add on being, Chelimo. Thank you for that.
Okay, teacher.
Thank you, Chelimo. We are being given.
Teacher, it's Nancy, not Chelimo.
Hey, Nancy, yes, it was Nancy that was responding. Nancy, you come back again. Come back again and I thank you. Then you say you are welcome, teacher. Are you there? Or you have feared to come back?
You're welcome, teacher.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's go to the other one.
Teacher, present.
Simple. That's simple. It gives us all sorts of things. Namara, it is okay now, you speak. I think you are impatient to speak. Namara. Okay, now I give the chance to, is it Peruth? Peruth Agath. Peruth Agath.
We were given all sorts of things.
We
were given all sorts of things.
They give us all sorts of things. We are given all sorts of things. We are given all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Okay? Present perfect. They have given us all sorts of things. Hancock. Who is this Hancock? Some of you are going to remove you. We cannot recognize you. So Hancock does not even respond.
Yeah, it's her name. Her name.
It's called Hancock.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Teacher, there are many kinds of names, so you don't judge someone.
Who is this one giving opinion? You don't judge someone. Sheila, keep your peace. All right, let's have Bella. Kalunji. Kalunji. Respond. We are waiting for this one here. Bella has gone off. Leila Empire.
We have been given all sorts of things.
They have given us all sorts of things. We
have been given all sorts of things.
We have been given all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Okay, and then the last one, divine queridad. Divine queridad. Divine respond.
We will be given all sorts of things.
Beautiful. We will be given. We will be given all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Yeah, so that is it. So here we have looked at they here, the pronoun as the subject, they. And then you see again, when we have us, now it changes to we. But the whole idea is that now we're dealing with the doer of the action. Whether we are doing with the action here and we are forgetting the doer of the action. And Mirembe, do you have any questions? Mirembe, Amira. Is there anything you want to say? Yes.
Down there in the future, down there, you said we will.
We will be.
Can't you say we
they
shall
will
be?
give us. We can use shall if the modal auxiliary verb that has been given here is shall. This is a modal auxiliary verb.
Yeah.
It is modifying this verb here to give. All right.
Yes,
If we had shall here, then we can have shall here. But we have will. Why do we have shall here? Yet we have will here.
Okay, teacher, I've understood, teacher.
So when we have shall here, it's okay, we can have it. For present perfect, isn't it? We have been given all sorts of things. Present perfect. They have given us all sorts of things. We have been given. It is the one. We have been given all sorts of things. This one is the one for present. Yes, please. Who is it with a question?
Me.
Yes, Lisa. Yes, Lisa.
On a past simple, you wrote they gave us all sorts of things. Then on the passive, you wrote
the past simple. They give us all sorts of things. We are given.
They give us all sorts of things.
Yes, that's past simple. Yes.
Then the passive is we are given.
Yes.
We were.
Isn't it supposed to be we were? You were given. You wrote are.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is were. There was a mistake. It is were. We were given.
Yes, teacher.
Lisa, you got it?
Yes, teacher.
Sorry, it was a mistake. Teacher, could you give us a guiding table, Iggy, what different words change to in the passive voice? Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you that changes. I'll tell you what changes in the passive voice. But that is going to be in the next lesson. Because I wanted us to have 3 lessons on this topic, and then we let it go, and then we move on to another topic. So I'll give you the changes, but of course you have seen the changes here are, we have already forgotten the subject. All right. Then number 2, the other change is that we made what was the object to be the subject now of the passive voice. That is 2 of the changes. Then the other change is in the tense. But the tense doesn't change too much. The tense stays the same. It is only 1, the changes in the subject, that now we forget the subject of the original sentence. Number 2, the other change is that what was the original object now becomes the subject of the passive sentence. Those are the changes. But I will show you later on other changes as we go on to look at more things in the passive voice. Okay? So that is it. That is it. If you have not understood here anything, then we can revisit it. Otherwise, I now want us to go to the verb plus the preposition. The verb plus the preposition. Are we done here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not done, but I just so small.
Mute. You guys, mute your syllables. Mute your syllables. Who told you to unmute your syllables? Move it again. Okay?
Yeah.
I was not asking you, I'm asking these people in class. I have a few in class, about 3. Okay, now let's look at the verb plus the preposition. The verb plus the preposition.
Teacher, I've written that.
Sorry?
You've written that.
I've written that. I don't know whether it is let me see, who is this one now confusing my things on the board. I think it is Alia Nakazi. Nakazi will stop disturbing my things on the board. I am now writing wrong letters. All right, let's look at this sentence here. They never shout at children. They never shout at children. They never shout at children. When you look at this sentence here, they never shout at children. If we want to turn this sentence into passive, what do we do? They never shout at children. If we want to change this one into passive, what do we do?
Children are never shouted at.
Children are never shouted.
Children are never shouted at.
Chorus answers, you divine and Sheila, look at you. Zoke Wamana Weteme, tell us.
Children are never shouted at.
Children, the children.
Shall we? Where have you got that from?
I never shouted. I never shouted at. Where am I getting the children? Okay, well, let's put the children here. I forgot the children. We can put it there. The children. The children are never shouted at. Now, when you look at this sentence here, they never shout at the children. There is this verb here, or rather there is this kawadi here. This kawadi here is called a preposition, all right? Now, this preposition here is the one that is close to the, it is close to the verb, shout, all right? In other cases, when it is combined together, shout at, do not shout at us. The word shout at now becomes a phrasal verb. All right? When we have this one in the sentence and we have, now I'm using one stone to hit on two birds. I want to show you how the preposition here can help us work with a passive voice. But at the same time, I want to show you again the nature of this word here, shout at. Shout at now becomes a phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs are those verbs that are composed of two words. For example, jump up, kick back, sit down, stand up. All those ones are phrasal verbs. Now this one is shout at. Now, this one here is a preposition. This preposition now follows the verb. Why does it follow the verb? Simply because it wants to affect this action here. And how does it affect it? That it is directly, this action is directly affecting this object here. All right? They never shout at the children, because we cannot have, they never shout the children. When you say they never shout the children, then now we're having a different concept and expression of the sentence altogether. But here we have they never shout at the children. That means this sentence here is taking consideration of this preposition here. This preposition is what makes sense in this sentence. Otherwise, if we don't have it here, then the sentence is not complete. Although we are interested in the verb itself, but the verb does not make sense if the preposition is not there. Let's take it. If this preposition is not here, then the whole sentence does not carry meaning. That is why we cannot even turn this sentence to passive easily when the preposition is not there. Can we? They never shout the children. The children are never shouted. Are never shouted. You see, it does not carry meaning, but it is the preposition now that gives us the meaning. So we're looking at the verb plus the preposition that will help us have a passive sentence. All right? So again, class, here we have forgotten that they, and we are now focusing on the verb. The children, this is what was the object of the original sentence, now has become the subject. Then the verb is shouted, eh? And then the preposition is at. But then look at the changes here. Now the verb has changed from a simple to a past participle. Children are. What changes it to a past participle is this auxiliary here. This auxiliary are is the one that has affected this verb here. All right, to turn it into a past perfect. And remember, we said last time we said when we were noting that all verbs in the passive voice are expressing themselves in the past participle form of the verb. That is the tense. That is why now we are having al here to modify this verb shouted from the simple to the past participle. Present simple, past participle, right? That is it. So we are saying that this word here, at, in this sentence here, is called a preposition, and it is joining the verb shout, and must be, it shouldn't be forgotten. This one here. Definitely, it is obviously wrong to say they never shout the children. For the same reason, it would be wrong to say the children are never shouted in the passive. So we say the children are never shouted at, right? Let's have a simple table. Let's do another simple table to have sentences of that kind also put together here so that we can put that in our heads as well. So the first sentence here is, they often make fun of me.
In a great state.
Agatha, go off and go and tell your stories somewhere else.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Teacher, which word is that, like on the third sentence? They attended to his
wounds. Wounds.
Thank you.
Then teacher, they
the
were
first
what? The first one.
Okay, let me come and look at the first one.
Yes, that's so better.
Okay. Now we have the first one. They often make fun of me. They often make fun of me. The second one is they are playing. They are paying. They are paying for everything. They are paying for everything. Then they attended to his wounds. They attended to his wounds. Then we have, they were trading on me. They were trading on me. Then we have, they've never spoken to me. They've never spoken to me. And then we have, they'll take care of you. They will take care of you. They will take care of you. Now we want to have these sentences in the passive voice. This one is the active voice. Active voice. Now we want to have them in the passive. We want to have them in the passive. So what do we do? Let me see. Habasambu. Maria Adrian.
Yes, teacher. I am often made fun of.
I am often made made fun of. Beautiful. I am often made fun of. Huh? Often. Often made fun of. I am often made fun of. Okay, number 2, Huda. Huda.
Everything is being paid for.
Everything is being paid for. Good. Everything is being paid for. Okay, number 3, Wendy Mukwezi. Wendy?
His wounds are being attended to.
His wounds are being attended to. They are attended to his wounds. His wounds. His wounds. We shall have Muhwezi, we are going to have his wounds were attended to, because this one is simple past. Were attended to. His wounds were attended to. His wounds were attended to. Okay. They were treading on him. Let me see who has not answered. Sophie Namakula.
He was being treaded on.
He? Go
He
again.
was being treaded. He was being treaded.
They were treading on him. I'm on. I'm on.
He was being treaded on.
He was being
Treaded on.
They were treading on
Trodden
him.
on.
He was being trodden on. He was being trodden on. Trodden has double D, eh? It has double D.
Treading.
To tread is to walk on something, to step on something as you are walking. Eh? You tread. It comes from the word tread. Tread like this. Tread. All right. Then trod. Then trodden. Trodden. You are not seeing the other side, but it is a tread, present tense, trod, past tense, and then trodden is the participle, but it means stepping on something as you're walking. You step on something. Okay, Luta Amra. Luta. Luta, I am waiting for you.
I have never been spoken to by them.
I have never, they've never spoken to me. I've never, Chivulam Luta. Yes, Nanyange. Okay, let me have somebody from class. Let me have someone from class. I have never been spoken to. Yes. The answer is they've never spoken to me. I've never been spoken to. I have never been spoken to. I've never been spoken to. They will take care of you. They will take care of you. I am seeing Shifa Kadri.
You'll be You'll be taken care of.
You'll be taken care of. Thank you. You will be taken care of. Have you written that? Are we done?
Teacher,
Yes,
not
teacher.
yet.
You're obstructing.
I am obstructing. Eh? Okay, now I have gone away from obstructing. Hannah Louise, you still his hand up. Hey.
So sorry, I had forgotten it up.
I've seen some Buziba speaking and then he went off. Have you finished writing so we can continue?
No.
Yes.
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 Yes, you have.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
We are done.
you're done. All right, we're not going to look at the objects and complements. Objects and complements.
Teacher, we can't see well.
You can't see well. You are going to see, don't worry. Objects and complements.
Teacher, you have written they stole it.
They have. Now I'm hurrying to go.
Excuse me, teacher.
Stolen is LL.
Yeah, it's single L, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you look at the sentences on the board, yes, they've stolen my new bicycle. They gave the headmaster a book. They are looking at some magazines. Madu became a trader. They have made him president. He has been made president. Okay. Now, in number one, in sentence number one, it is very easy. How is it very easy? They have stolen my new bicycle. So my new bicycle here is the object. This one here is the object. This one here is the verb. This one here is the subject. So when we are turning this sentence to passive, what did we say? We said that my new bicycle was stolen. That is good. Now we must forget by them. Why are we forgetting by them? Because we said that we forget the subject, okay, of the sentence, and then we focus on the verb in the passive voice. So here we are saying that it is very easy for number one to turn the sentence into the passive voice. Why? Because it has the subject, verb, and the object. We can prove this by making the sentence passive. That it is very easy, we can make it passive. All right? So we say, my new bicycle has been stolen. My new bicycle has been stolen because we have, they have stolen. My new bicycle has been stolen. You get the logic? When we say they have stolen my new bicycle was stolen. That means the tense has changed. The tense in the active voice has now changed in the passive voice. So it doesn't have to change. It stays the same. And we say it, by the way, in the passive voice, we are using the past participle form of the verb. Okay? So we are going to say, they have stolen my new bicycle. My new bicycle has been stolen. Okay, Hannah, what is it? Hannah, you have a question.
No, it's not a question. I just wanted to give the passive for number two.
Oh, the passive for number two. Okay, so when we look at number two, these sentences all are unique in their own way. The first sentence, we said that it is easy. Why is it easy? Because it is easy for us to change it into passive. They've stolen my new bicycle. My new bicycle has been stolen. All right? Then we said, new bicycle is the object of the verb stolen. Coming from the subject, they have. All right? Coming from the subject, they have stolen is the verb. Then new bicycle is the object. So that sentence is very easy for us to change to passive. Let's look at number two. Number two, the verb gave has two objects. You see, there are two objects on the verb to give. There is, they gave the headmaster. They gave the headmaster. When you stop at that, they gave the headmaster. It is a vague sentence. It is an incomplete sentence. What is it that was given to the headmaster? Because even when we try to change this sentence into passive, into the passive voice, it's going to be difficult for us to construct it with a meaningful expression. How? We cannot say the headmaster gave or the headmaster was given. Given what? They gave the headmaster. The headmaster was given. Given what? So that's why we have a book. Remember, class, we are looking at the object, and then we are looking at the complement. So we want to know which one is the object, which one is the complement. In number 1, the object is clear to us that it is a new bicycle. There's no complement at all in number 1. They've stolen my new bicycle, subject, verb, object. There's no complement at all. There's only the object here, and it is a direct one affecting the verb stolen. They gave the headmaster, I said, giving the headmaster in number 2, this verb to give has 2 objects. The first object is the headmaster. Then the second object is the new book. So the first object here, the headmaster, first object here, there are 2. There is the headmaster, and then there is a new book.
A book.
Or rather a book, yes. Now, the headmaster is now going to qualify to be the indirect object. The headmaster now becomes the indirect object. And then we shall have the second one as the direct object. A book is the direct object, but then the headmaster is now the indirect object. The 2 of them are objects of this sentence, of this verb here. They are objects of the verb here. They gave the headmaster. That statement can exist, but it is incomplete. So why is it incomplete? Because it bears an indirect object, the headmaster. So we need to have a direct object to make it complete. What did they give to the headmaster? A book. Therefore, the word a book becomes the direct object of the verb to give. They gave the headmaster a book. So in this sentence, we have 2 objects. We have the indirect object, and then we have the direct object. Now, sorry, the second sentence, yes, please. Who is this asking?
Teacher, is number 5 a question or it's an answer?
I am coming to number 5. There are no questions here. All of them are direct statements. All of them are statements. They are not questions. Then, I'm coming to number 5. Each sentence here is unique, by the way, class. Each sentence here is unique, and I want you to take note of the uniqueness that these sentences bear. Remember, in the first sentence, I said it only has a direct object, and that is definite, can be changed to passive easily without difficulty. We have, they've stolen my new bicycle. My new bicycle has been stolen. They gave the headmaster a book. The headmaster was given a book, you see? But we are only able to say the headmaster was given a book because we have 2 objects here. We have the indirect object, and then we have the direct object. So it is easier for us to say the headmaster was given a book. So we forget the ones who gave the headmaster. That one we said in the passive voice, we forget the doer of the action and we focus on the action itself. When you look at number 3, class, when you look at number 3, some magazines is not the object of the verb are looking. This one here. Guys, mute your baby sisters. Tell them you are in class. Jolie Mina. Okay? So you look here, class, and focus. This one is a very critical session. in dealing with a passive voice. When you look at number three has they are looking at some magazines. They are looking at some magazines. So we said that some magazines, or we are saying that some magazines is not the object of the verb looking, because it is separated from it by the preposition. All right? But this sentence can be changed to passive. It can be changed to passive. Why can it be changed to passive? Because some magazines now becomes the preposition, rather becomes the complement in this sentence here. It becomes a complement. They are looking at what? Some magazines. So we are saying that some magazines here is not the object of the verb to look. Why? Because it is separated from this one here, looking at some magazines. When we are changing this to passive, we shall say some magazines are being looked at. Right? Some magazines are being looked at. So here we say that look is not a transitive verb. Look is not a transitive verb. It can be complete without an object. Remember we said transitive verbs are verbs that require a direct object, all right? And then intransitive verbs are verbs that do not require an object. So we're saying the verb to look does not require an object. And therefore, it is not a transitive verb, but rather an intransitive verb. All right, let's try it and see. When you have they are looking, when you have a statement, they are looking, that statement is complete, not so? They are looking, it is complete. We don't even need an object there to make it complete. All right? But then that preposition that comes in, they are looking at, all right? At what? So the preposition there has called for a complement to come and complement it to make the sentence meaningful. So we are taking some magazines to be the complement of the verb to look and not the object of that verb. Is that clear, class?
Yes, teacher.
Good. Let's continue and say, so we're saying that look is not a transitive verb. And yet the sentence can easily be made passive. Some magazines are being looked at. Some magazines are being looked at. Class, don't get confused with number 3. We are saying this one here. Remember we said to change a sentence into a passive sentence or into the passive voice, we must have this one here. The verb here must be a transitive verb. But remember, we are saying this verb here is not transitive. Therefore, how are we able to turn this verb here into a passive sentence? So we are saying we are taking the aid of some magazines to be the complement. We are complementing this verb here such that it can become, it can be expressed. Should we write that? Yes, you should write this one. Don't wait for me to tell you to write. You should write everything. So we're saying that this one, some magazines, is complementing this verb looking such that it can be expressed in the what? It can be expressed in the passive voice or in the passive tense. So we're saying that, and yet we can easily make this passive. For example, some magazines are being looked at. This is because look and at can be taken together like a single transitive verb, and we say look at some magazines. Is that clear? So where we have phrasal verbs, a verb may not qualify to be transitive. But when it becomes a transitive verb, when it has a complement, because now this one has been complemented by this word, this preposition, look, has been complemented with like a preposition at. So it becomes look at, all right? It has changed from looking, from the original verb looking and being complemented with a preposition look at. So we have some magazines, look at some magazines. So this one is just a complement, all right, to make the verb clear and meaningful and able to be expressed in the passive voice. Are we together there as we proceed? Then for other cases of transitive verb plus preposition, we shall look at there's an exercise where I will give you to look at that. And then actually the exercise is on page 32. There's an exercise on page 32 there. You can try it out to see whether what we're saying is of practical English.
Take a screenshot and proof.
You guys do not know that we are using practical English book 2 for grammar. That one is the one we told you to use. We told you to get practical English book 2 and then you follow. Me, I thought you were following that already. Okay, let me write it for you here, the book that we are using. Practical English book 2, page 32. Page 32. So you look at that exercise there on page 32. Number 1 there is they never look at the books. All right, and then there's a starting statement there. There's a starter there that says the books. They never look at the books. Then we have the books are never looked at. Maybe you complete that. So I want you to go and look at that exercise there. It is going to help us see the expression of number 3, how we can simply change number 3 to passive. Remember, we are saying that looking is not a transitive verb, but complemented with a preposition at, it qualifies now to be expressed in passive. Number 4, when you look at number 4 there, a trader looks very much like the object of the verb became. Amadu became a trader. When you look at that sentence there, you would think that a trader is the object of the verb became, but it is not. It is a complement. When we say Amadu became, it is a hanging statement. So we need something to add on to that Amadu became, to add on to the verb to carry a meaningful sentence. So here we are saying Amadu became a trader. So the word a trader looks very much like the object of the verb became. Because if you try to make this sentence passive, you will find it impossible. We're going to find it very difficult to have this sentence turned to passive. We can't say a trader became Amadu. Amadu became a trader, and then we say a trader became Amadu. Huh? So it will sound vague. Therefore, we are saying Amadu cannot be an ordinary object. So here in grammar, the grammarians call this one a complement. In grammar, they call this one here a complement. That Amadu became something. So a trader now becomes the complement. Very few verbs in English can take a complement in this way. The commonest verbs here that can do that are the verb am and then the verb was. All right. And then Amadu was a trader. So when we have Amadu was a trader, Amadu became a trader, because became comes from are. All right? It comes from am. I became. I have become. I am a trader. Eh? So it comes from that area. In the dictionary, when you look at the dictionary, the verb to be and become of course are classed in transitive verbs. Become, to be and to become, the verbs, when you look in the dictionary, you are going to find there like a word intransitive, actually it. When you look in the dictionary, when you look up for words in the dictionary and you find a word having tr, verb, when they say it is a verb, then it has tr. That means it is a verb transitive. When you find it verb and it, that means it is a verb intransitive. Whenever you look in that, whenever you look up for words in the dictionary and you find tr, they tell you that the word is a verb, but it is a transitive verb. So it brings us back to this very topic we are discussing. Okay, now when you look at number 5, there, have made, they have made, has both an object and a complement. All right, there is an object and a is him. The object is him. They have made him. All right, so the sentence, he has been made. They have made him. He has been made. So that one is clear. But then what makes it complex here is the word president. So the word president here becomes a complement. It is not an object. The object is him. They have made him. This one is the object. But then president is not the object. President now becomes a complement. They have made him president. He has been made president. You see that? What's the answer for number 4? Number 4 has no answer. We cannot turn this word here to passive. So we are saying that this verb here is intransitive. It is an intransitive verb. So we have no answer to this one. Number 5, we are saying they've made him president. We are saying in this sentence here, we have him as an object and president as a complement. Therefore, it runs like this. They have made him president. He has been made president. You see, in both sentences, president comes at the end. This one is the active sentence of this passive. Number 6 is the passive sentence of number 5. Okay? But the trick is in both. Teacher, what is the answer for number 4, please? Number 4 has no answer. We are saying we cannot turn this verb here. We can't say a trader became Amadu. So this one stays there. Amadu became a trader. That one stays the way it is. There is nothing that we can add on to modify it or to make it passive. I don't know whether you understand that. So we said that one, we are ruling it out. However, here, I am now looking at number 5 and 6. We're saying that this one here, president, is the complement to this object, him. They have made him president. He has been made president. So the word president here remains a complement of in that sentence there. Any questions if you have not understood? Number 2. What didn't you understand on number 2? That? The headmaster and the book. In number 2 class, we said that there are 2 objects. Number 2 has 2 objects. There's no complement in number 2. If I recall having said that number 2 has a complement, then I was wrong there. Number 2 does not have a complement. Number 2 has 2 objects. There is a direct object and an indirect object. The indirect object there in number 2 definitely is the headmaster. The headmaster is an indirect. This one qualifies to be an indirect object. This one qualifies to be a direct object. So we have 2 objects there. Tahia, you want to say something? Navlondera. Okay, you went off. So when you look at number 2, somebody was asking about number 2. Let me come, Beatrice, and speak to you. In number 2 here, we have 2 objects. We have this one, the indirect object, and then the second one is the direct object. Where are you from? You get it? Beatrice. Alice.
Teacher, my question is not about today's lesson, but are you getting me? My question is not about today's lesson, but
I am getting you.
The question goes, Alice has mature reasoning styles. Alice is a young girl. Rewrite ending though.
Alice, repeat again.
Alice has mature reasoning styles.
Mature reasoning. Mature reasoning what?
Styles.
Styles. Okay. And then Alice
is a young girl. Alice is a young girl.
A young
teacher.
Is a young girl. Yes, we are going on. So you're saying that we rewrite and do what?
Rewrite ending though.
Rewrite ending though. Rewrite ending though.
Ending.
Alice is a girl and has
it cannot be the middle of the sentence.
Alice is a young girl.
Alice is a young girl and has mature reasoning
skills.
Alice has mature reasoning styles and is a young girl.
Alice is a young girl though. Alice is a young girl and has mature reasoning skills.
Yeah. Okay. Alice, I think we can have, I think, 2 alternatives here. I don't know, I'm not very sure, but let's first look at the first alternative. We can say Alice is a mature young girl with reasoning styles though. Can say that. Alice is a mature young girl with a reasoning style or with reasoning styles, though. You can have that. The other one is Alice has a mature reasoning style. Alice has a mature reasoning style. I know I thought I would bring it in the middle, though she's young. But we can take this, we can take Alice's a mature young girl with reasoning style, though. Okay, Nsima, Nancy, you want to ask? But this one here, I want you to change your name, madam. This one here, who has my Cox small? That one who has my Cox small. You change your name. Call yourself something else. Linguistically, the expression is amusing. And Mbabas Tasnim, is there anything you want to say to us before we call it a day? Tasnim, you can talk to us. Tasnim. Okay, if Tasnim is not ready, then Nsima, Nancy.
Oh, teacher, wait, I didn't know that you had unmuted me. I was saying that, isn't it Alice is a young girl with a mature reasoning style?
There is though at the end. Rewrite ending though.
Teacher.
Alice is mature because I think sorry. Nsima.
Teacher, I think the answer to that question is Alice is a young girl, but she has a mature reasoning style.
At the end.
So
Yes.
you want us to have but though. You want us to have that expression with the but though. With the Alice is a young girl, but with mature reasoning style, though.
Yes.
So that one sounds how?
It sounds weird,
but correct. Okay, I'll get a proper. Let me go back to the grammatical principles here. Then I'll give you a proper answer tomorrow. No, tomorrow we don't have lessons. Maybe in that I think the answer is Alice is a young girl with mature reasoning skills though. Divine, that one looks good. Divine, I think that one looks okay. Alice is a young girl, but with mature reasoning style though. Divine, what did you say? Alice is a young girl with mature reasoning skills though. Yes, Divine, that one is correct. Alice is a young girl with mature reasoning styles though. That one can work. Babas, you still have your hand? Babas. Okay, guys, I want to say bye for now. There are no lessons tomorrow. Tomorrow is Eid, so we're going to break off. We shall be back on Wednesday and continue from there. Remember, we have a few weeks. We don't know what the president will say. We don't know whether we are still safe to open, but I implore you to stay safe, stay at home, read your books well, do house chores, work out at home, help out your parents.
Yes, thank you, teacher, for teaching us.
You are welcome, guys. I love you all. Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.